Did you know that you can practice mindfulness meditation within a Yin Yoga pose? Today we're going to try this with a body scan in the Yin pose called Banana or Banana Asana. This is a great practice for learning mindfulness skills in an embodied way. Let's give it a try. All you'll need for this pose is a little bit of open floor space and maybe a blanket or pillow to put behind your head. So then we'll come onto our backs and we'll stretch out. Find a comfortable position as best you can. Take a few breaths. Just noticing the feeling of the floor beneath your body. So we're already starting to tune into the sensations of the body. And in a body scan, we'll be moving our attention systematically through different areas of the body. So let's come into our banana pose. We'll take our feet with our legs straight and walk our feet all the way over to the right, just as far as they naturally go. And then we'll do this with our shoulders too. We'll use our elbows to kind of scoot our shoulders over to the right. And so now we're feeling more of a stretch on the left side of the body, more than likely. It's lengthened here. And you could keep your arms down by your side, or you could hold your hands overhead, as long as that feels calming and relaxed for your shoulders. We'll spend about 3 minutes on each side. So that gives us time to make this a meditation. As you take your first few breaths, soften into the pose. See if you can release any extra effort. And then you might start to notice where the initial sensations are showing up. For me, it's really strong in my left side waist, but for others, it might be more in your hip or in your rib cage, or all of the above. Often when we do a pose like this, our attention kind of automatically goes to whatever sensation is the strongest. Nothing wrong with that, but we can also use a pose to train our ability to place our attention with intention. So let's see if we can feel the sensations in the feet. It's probably not the strongest sensation that you have going on, but can you take your awareness down with curiosity to your feet? Maybe you can feel your heels on the ground, or some sensations of warmth or coolness. And then start to let your attention move up the legs into the calves, maybe the feeling of the calves resting on the floor. And in the background, there's probably still that stretch sensation that's definitely there, but we're placing our attention elsewhere at the moment, feeling into the calves, however much or however little sensation is there. Moving up into the upper leg, the thigh bones, muscles along the side. Are you feeling your left side more clearly than your right? Just noticing that, not making a right or wrong out of it. Maybe coming closer to the stretch sensations now. Feeling into the hips. Starting to feel into the side waist, the ribs. Sensing the breath. Can you feel up into your shoulders? If you notice tension there, it's a good chance to soften a bit more, feeling into the arms, the hands. the face. And we'll release this first side. We'll let the arms come back down if they were overhead. We'll walk the shoulders and the legs back to center. And we'll take a moment just here in the center to check in. You notice if anything feels different. Maybe there's a change in the breath or a difference in the feeling of the left and right sides of the body. The side that's been stretched might be a bit more sparkly with sensation right now. These poses help to wake up our connection to the body, which enhances a body scan, but it's also challenging because our attention tends to be drawn to the intensity, and we're training ourselves to also notice what's more subtle, to include the whole range of sensations. So let's try the other side. Let's go ahead and walk our feet over to the left, and then walk our shoulders over to the left. And just adjust as you need to so that your pelvis continues to feel level. You could take your arms and reach them overhead and hold opposite elbows or wrists, or you could have your arms down by the sides or hands resting on the abdomen. Just see what feels right. Today, no strain. Taking your first few easy breaths, consciously soften any effort. Whatever effort it took to get into this position, we can let that go now. Just letting the floor hold us here. Noticing the initial sensations that jump out to you. It's different for me on this side. I'm noticing more of my middle side ribs. What's it like for you? Start our body scan towards the top of the pose this time. And let's start to feel into the hands and arms. You can notice what they're touching, a sense of contact, texture, maybe temperature sensations like warmth or coolness. My hands feel a lot warmer than my toes. Starting to let the attention flow from the arms into the shoulders. Maybe there's a little softening, deepening of the relaxation there. Coming down into the upper torso, the chest, the upper back. Maybe we're noticing things we wouldn't ordinarily notice in this pose because of the way that we're moving our attention through it. Just observing sensations in the rib cage. Right side, left side. Inhale, exhale. Down into the low back and the sides of the waist. What do you notice? Strong sensations and subtle sensations. Continuing down into the hips. Letting attention move down through the legs. Feeling what's touching the ground. Feeling any stretch sensations. All the way down to the feet again. Just noticing what you notice. It all counts. Then we can release the arms and walk ourselves back to the center once more. Just taking a moment to feel the effect of that pose, to feel any effect in the body in terms of the breath or the release of tension, the increase in awareness of sensations. Notice how present you feel at this moment. You can do any little movements that would feel good as you're coming out of that pose, a little rocking or a little twisting or tilting of the pelvis. Thank you for practicing with me.